Welcome to Above Par. I'm your host, Kathy Hartwood. I show you how to take more of your talent to the golf course without practicing harder, taking more lessons, or buying new equipment. I show you how to end the frustration of underperforming so you can start playing to your potential. This is where you are going to learn how to think above par so you can play below par. Let's get to it. Hello, my golf friend. Welcome back to Think Above Par. Super happy you're here and listening. Hope you're ready for a big 2025. And maybe as you're thinking about this year, getting ready for your season or wherever you are in the country or the world and your golf game, that you're thinking about some of the objectives and things that you want to get done this year. I wanted to just record this podcast to help you get on the right track, I guess. Make sure that you're not headed down a wrong track. I want to tell you some goals that aren't very great to set. They're not going to be horrible goals, but they're not great to set as a golfer because I want you to set yourself up for success. And I want you to reach your goals. I want you to reach your goals, on and off the golf course. So I just want to highlight a few things that are going to be useful for you as you go about deciding what you want to accomplish this year. So sometimes goals can look like a do goal, meaning I want to play more tournaments, or I want to hit more balls, or I want to practice more. Right. And typically that's not a great goal. Just like I want to work out more. I want to lose some weight. It doesn't really have a measurement to it. So if you're doing a do goal, a lot of times those are just decisions. If you want to play in more tournaments, just decide you're going to play in more tournaments, right? If you want to practice more, just decide you're going to practice more and put it on your calendar. It's a goal. It's an objective. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But as you're deciding what you want to do, if you have a do goal, right, I would ask yourself, why? Why do you want to play more? What are you going to get out of it? What's the upside to it? What's the win for you in playing more or practicing more? What's the point of practicing more? You want to spend more time hitting golf balls, or do you want to spend more time improving a certain part of your swing? And if you want to improve a certain part of your swing or a shot, then why? Are you trying to lower your score? Right. So a lot of times some of those do goals happen to be in the journey of going towards a bigger goal. So if you have a do goal, just decide, put it in your calendar and decide you're going to do it. But ask yourself why that is an objective of yours, because it might be part of a bigger picture. Another goal that a lot of golfers make is a handicap goal. That is to lower your handicap by a few shots. Maybe you want to go from a 12 to a 10 or a 10 to a 7. A perfectly good goal, an objective that you want to have by the end of the season. Some of the questions that you want to ask yourself is, what is a 7 handicap doing, if that's your objective, that's your goal, that I'm not doing? On the golf course, what are they doing? Course management wise, maybe mechanically, are they getting up and down more often? Do they have less 3 putts? Do they hit it straighter than you do? Use that picture of a 7 handicap that you have in your head as your motivation or your visual on what you need to do or what you need to stop doing. And it's going to be in 4 basic categories. What are they doing in course management? Right? Do they not short-sighted as much as you do? They hit it to the center of the green more than you could do. Maybe you go for some tucked pins that you shouldn't, that cost you more shots. So course management wise, mechanically, they hit more greens, they get up and down more, they have less 3 putts. Physically, what are they doing? Do they have more flexibility or more strength than you? And then mentally, what are they doing that you're not doing? And what are you doing that you need to stop doing in order for you to become a 7 handicap? Right? When you answer those questions, you're really going to get a lot of traction on what you actually need to do, the steps that you need to take to become a 7 handicap. So then you have a plan. And then that might be to practice more, but to practice what now? So now when you have your do goal about practicing more, now you have an objective, like you're going to practice more, but practice what specifically? Play more, but what are you going to do on the golf course to play more? And then of course, working on those mental skills is something that you want to do all the time. What is a 7 handicap thinking that you're not thinking? Are they thinking that they're not very good at finishing? They think they're always going to have a blow up hole? They think they can't get off the tee very well? They don't play well in tournaments? Or do they allow other people to bother them less than you do? Right? You get to decide, what are they thinking or not thinking that you are? And that gives you an idea about mentally on where to shift. So if your objective is to break a score barrier, like whether it's 100 or 90, 80 or 70, it doesn't matter. You're just like, I want to shoot in the 70s. I'm going to tell you, no, you don't. That is not your goal. That is not your objective. Because what's going to happen is you're going to shoot 77 for the first time ever, breaking 80, and you're going to go and tee up in that next round and take with you the identity and the thoughts of a person that shoots in the 80s. You're going to take the game and the swing of a person who shoots in the 80s. You do not want to do it just once. You want to be a person who can do it. So if your objective is to break a score barrier, you get to decide, what does a person do that shoots in the 70s or the 80s or the 60s, whatever your number is? What do they do that I'm not doing? And what are they thinking that I'm not thinking? What do I need to stop thinking? And what do I need to start thinking? What are they doing mentally? And what are they doing physically that I'm not doing? Because you want to step into that person. You want to be a person who can do it. You don't want to do it just once, because you got to bring that old self with you on the golf course the next time. And if that person doesn't believe that they are a person who can shoot in the 70s, then the chances of you repeating it become very small, right? So as you set that goal, think a little bit more about who do you need to be a person who can shoot in the 70s or the 80s, whatever your number is. Not what do I need to do it once. Okay, and then lastly, my least favorite goal is to win a tournament. And this is the thing. I think that winning a tournament is a great objective, that you want to win the tournament. I would ask you, which tournament do you sign up for that you don't want to win? Right? I mean, I don't know if your expectations are so low, you play in something where the field is so far above you that you don't think you can win. But I would ask you, why not? I mean, what tournament don't you want to win? Now, do you want to have a certain or specific trophy on your mantle, like the club championship or a member or a state tournament or a local tournament? Sure, I think that's a great objective. But to make it a goal that at the end of the season, you can be really disappointed in yourself if it didn't happen, I don't think is awesome. And this is the reason why. There's so many things out of your control. You could go and shoot lights out, right, your best tournament round by 5 shots, and there could be somebody who played out of their mind by 6 shots, and you don't win, right? And then you feel crappy, but you also had this amazing tournament round that you don't give yourself credit for. There's so many things out of your control at a tournament, at a given tournament, moment in time, that you can't control, that it becomes a very hard goal to have as an objective that you have some control over. The only things that you really can control is what you think on the golf course. You can control your pre-shot routine. You can control how you manage your emotions. You can control your pace of play. You control how much sleep perhaps that you got the night before, but that's about it. Everything else is really out of your control. Breaks, lies, wind, weather, pairings, tee times, people, words people say. There's so many variables involved in winning a tournament that your objective going in is to do that as many times as possible. Show up, control your thoughts, control your emotions, prepare as best you can, go through your pre-shot routine, have your own back, whatever it is. If you do that on a consistent basis, then the chances of you winning goes greatly up, but you can't control the other people in the field. This is why one-day qualifiers are so challenging, is because you go out there and play really well, but there's always somebody who's going to play out of their mind that's never played out of their mind before. Right? They're that person who broke 70 for the first time, shot 64, the lowest round ever, and they qualify. And you're like, really? Like, I played really well, but this guy just played out of his mind, guy or girl just played out of their mind, right? And they go play in the tournament and then they can't break 80 because they're not taking that identity with them, which goes back to my other point. They're not a person who just broke 70 for once and they're really super happy. No, because they're bringing the identity of I'm a person who really can't do that to the tournament. Right? So there's things that you can't control. So I love having the objective, like I like to win these tournaments. It's just like saying, I want to play well today. I just want to play well. I'm like, what day don't you want to play well? Right? It's not an awesome daily goal. It's asking yourself, how do I play well? And the way that I play well is I stand over as many shots from calm, certain, and confident as possible. I manage my mind and my thoughts and my emotions, and I add them up and stick them on the scoreboard and see how I stood against everybody else. All right, my friends, so as you plan your objectives going into this season and you pick some things that you want to do, some golf goals, you may have a do goal in there, which is fine. I would ask yourself why. It may be part of a bigger goal, which is to lower your handicap or to start being a person who shoots certain numbers or breaks a score barrier. But I want you to step into and picture whatever that goal is, and picture the person that is doing that. And what are they thinking? What are they doing that I'm not doing? And what do I need to stop thinking and doing so that I can be a person who has that handicap, or I can be a person who shoots that number on a consistent basis? And if you do that, more of those wins are going to come your way this season. All right, my friends, make sure you reach out to me if you want any help at kathyhartwood.com. All right, have a beautiful week. I'll talk to you next Wednesday. Bye.